why do we have this data time bomb in the sector? There are three principal reasons that social housing sector has this problem. And the first is the software we use. In too many cases, it's not integrated, which causes departmental data silos and too often numerous versions of the truth. You know, we went to one of our customers recently, we found 27 versions of the same spreadsheet, and 3 of them, I think, were called master and were in current operation at the same time. There will be various versions of the truth, therefore, as a result of that. The second is staff introduce poor data into the system without really being aware or held accountable for the consequences that can cause further downstream. And thirdly, executives don't know where to start when it comes to fixing data quality, and management issues can be created as a result of this. And they just, because they don't know where to start, they find themselves concentrating on the things they feel they can resolve. And all the time bomb keeps ticking. So what's the solution to all 3 of these? And it is automated data quality assurance tools. Now, this may sound like a bit of a sales pitch, and I really don't mean it to. I really want to just get over what these tools can do, but I'm going to use our data logic solution as an example. There are other options out there. Probably the other big one in the sector at the moment is Interzeta, but we chose data logic, and I'll come on to a few reasons to why. So what does it do? It connects to pretty much any data source you have. So these can be structured or unstructured. And for those of you who don't know the difference, structured is effectively databases like your housing management system, your asset system, spreadsheets, whereas unstructured data is things that's in emails, social media feeds, shared drives, things like this. So 3C data logic can connect to any of these, and then it indexes that information, checks it against predefined data quality rules, so identifying any problems, and then it keeps checking 24/7, never sleeping, alerting you if these rules are broken. Now, this slide here is adapted from one that normally explains how a data warehouse works. Data logic is now in the place of that data warehouse in the middle there. And it's been put there because data logic can provide a cost-effective and swift alternative to a data warehouse. So it's effectively a centralized data repository collecting data from multiple data sources into one centralized, searchable, manageable, and reportable store. If anyone is talking to you about the creation of a data lake or a data warehouse, I urge you to consider the alternatives first. Too much time and money has been wasted already in the sector trying to achieve these things, often without complete success. We've already successfully connected data logic to almost every type of data source in the social housing sector. And that includes housing management systems and asset systems and pretty much everything else you can think of. Once connected, it works in a kind of Google-style way, so that outcomes can often be achieved in seconds. This allows you to check and refine data before presenting it into your data visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau, so you can then be assured that this data is correct. Mick Capon is the data lead at Westwood Housing, which is in the southwest, and they have data logic, and he talks about it being used to turn off their dirty data tap. As we've already discussed, by doing this, you will be addressing one of the greatest threats to organizational governance, risk, and compliance. It's quite normal for executives in other sectors to keep their fingers on the pulses of the business by regularly checking performance dashboards. They can be confident then that they're basing decisions on factual information. We need this to become normal in social housing too, as it's only by doing this we'll diffuse the time bomb and keep the regulator and the ombudsman away from our door. The 2 dashboards on the right here are both associated with data quality monitoring. But to be frank, data logic can be used to satisfy so many of the governance, risk, compliance requirements faced by the sector today. Just taking a couple, we have the social housing white paper. 6 out of the 7 factors within that rely on astute data management and insight. If we take mergers, Too often, I've witnessed merged organizations struggle due to poor data due diligence while they're preparing for the merger, and poor data integration once the merger's happened. 3C Data Logic can play a pivotal role in overcoming all of these issues. One of the organizations we're collaborating with is ARC Consultants, and they've created a proactive damp and mold solution, which has data logic sitting in its heart. So why did we create data logic, and why do we think it's best in class? Well, for too long, most requests that came into 3C were for services associated with technology selection, rather than actually the strategic outcomes that were needed. We recognized that there needed to be a shift in focus to information outcomes, with the technology underlying it purely being the enabler. So to help, we sought out a data quality assurance tool, and we went through an options appraisal of various options in the market, and we selected Infobos as the engine to power our solution. And then we developed it and addressed to address the specific needs of the social housing sector, so creating data logic. At first, it was purely for our own use, but we soon realized it was needed by customers who wanted to own and manage it themselves. And the reason we selected Infobos and created data logic on it were for three primary reasons. The first was agility. It connects directly to both structured and unstructured data, as I mentioned. Not all of them do. Second was data democratization. Once you've been installed it, you can pretty much anyone can learn how to use it very quickly. It's kind of low code base. You don't need SQL skills, which is what many of them do. And one of the reasons why we feel that people would select data logic compared to others is also because of us, dare I say it. You know, the people behind data logic have been in social housing for most of their careers. They know social housing data, and dare I say it, they may know it better than any of us. So data logic is designed specifically to support social housing providers to address regulatory requirements, and hence help achieve and maintain grade 1 governance ratings and grade 5 data maturity rating. If we look at, sorry, someone's singing in the background there. If we look at just some of the reasons that there are, or some of the benefits from using data logic, and in my view, any one of these could more than cover the cost of investment in its own right. There are numerous here. So the first one is associated with SARS, subject access requests that are spiraling at the moment within the sector. We did this for one of our customers and showed them how data logic could be used for data discovery purposes. And they said that within a couple of minutes, it had achieved what it had taken them 10 days to do. So that in its own right would probably cover the cost. It's also, as I've already mentioned, cost-effective alternative to a data lake or data warehouse. There are organizations out there we know that have been spending six-figure amounts of money and significant amounts of time trying to achieve these things. It provides automated data monitoring. If you think for a minute, when you've done data quality checks within your organizations, the chances are that you do them and then they immediately start to degrade again. And so you can take out the manual quality assurance labor that's required and just keep the quality assurance process going, constantly. Again, saving a lot of money. There's also the ability to drill down very quickly. We had one of our customers ask how many urgent damp and mold requests they had in the system at that point of time. Now, there were 70,000 records, and then literally immediately it told there were 2 that fell in this certain category. So it's that speed and agility that it can provide. And not to mention data-driven decision-making. I mean, again, I come back to it. If you make the wrong decisions based on the wrong data, it can be hugely costly. Another area is if you talk to any data analyst, they will tell you that they usually spend 50% of their time trying to sort out the data and get it into the right state before they actually can present it for analytics purposes. It's just crazy when that needs to stop. And I could keep going through these, but As I say, there are plenty of reasons in their own right why this kind of solution just pays for itself. Here's just a few customers that are using it currently. The thing we're very proud of is 100% of clients that have gone through one of the proof of concepts have adopted it so far. So we're very, very pleased about that. And this is what a few clients have said. Westwood just underwent a data maturity assessment, and this was based on the government's data maturity framework, which in turn is based on the data orchard methodology. They achieved grade 5 mastering, which is the top grading. Now, they may not be the first HA to achieve this, but I personally don't know anyone else who has. And Westwood accept that they wouldn't have achieved it if they hadn't had a tool like Data Logic. So what does it take to implement it? And this, just to give you a feel to what it would take to get it operational, it can be achieved in weeks, not months or years. We simply install the software. Once installed, it's connected to the various data sources, and almost immediately it'll start to turbocharge your journey to data maturity. It becomes an invaluable tool to help you, as I say, diffuse the time bomb. And if you've got a bomb disposal team within your business for data, then this is just the kind of thing that they should be using. Now, I may hear some of you say, well, we don't have a bomb disposal team. Is that a problem? Well, it is actually from a governance perspective, because both from a regulatory and data maturity perspective, there's a need for expertise and accountability for data quality and management within an organization. There's also the need for boards to demonstrate that they have access to the appropriate expertise when making important decisions. And yet, in far too many cases, there are gaps in that executive expertise level. I'm not sure if it would surprise many of you, but in numerous HAs, the finance director is ultimately responsible for IT decisions. So that's an area they usually have very little training or experience in, and yet they could be making some significant decisions. You have to question whether that's right. So this is why both 3C and Golden Marzipan are collaborating to provide fractional executive services. And these address the gaps in executive skills and capacity. They help, if you like, fulfill essential governance, risk and compliance challenges on a simple, on-demand, cost-effective and flexible basis. It also importantly helps to liberate existing executive talent to play to their strengths without the distractions of things that they may not be completely sure about. So please get in touch if you'd like any more information on this. So to finish and in summary, by utilizing an automated data quality assurance tool like Data Logic, you will be diffusing the time bomb. You will ensure you address a critical requirement of grade 1 regulatory governance and grade 5 data maturity. You'll be far better empowered to address some of the major current challenges, including service improvement and value for money. You'll reduce organizational risk. You'll improve organizational compliance, and it'll help ensure you make decisions based on fact, which should make your jobs easier and less stressful. I actually sincerely believe that within the next 12 months, all medium and large social housing providers will have accepted this, and they'll be using such tools. As I said a little while ago, this may have sounded a bit like a sales pitch, but please understand, on the basis that we as a business have published mission statement that says that we are going to try and empower people to deliver social value through better using technology. It's our duty to help the sector find and implement such solutions.